Alright guys, it's that time of the week again and we are back for our weekly championship score predictions. Plenty of big matches to jump into today, which of course I want to get your verdict on in the comments down below. 300 likes on today's video would be massively appreciated, but without any further ado, let's jump in. Starting out with the Friday night game at Ewood Park for Blackburn up against Preston. I am looking forward to this one. Now, generally speaking, this fixture always seems to deliver the goals. In the last 12 meetings between Blackburn and Preston, there's been an average of 3.3 goals in this fixture. So I'd expect both teams to score in this game. And to be completely honest, I could realistically see this one going either way. Preston have been a bit of a streaky team so far this season, where we went on that crazy unbeaten run at the start of the season. We then went 7 without a win, but picking things up last time against Coventry, maybe we're about to go on another unbeaten streak here. Generally speaking, I've been pretty impressed with Rovers lately as well. Thought they were really good, very tidy in possession against Norwich and scored some great goals. However, I would say that there are a few vulnerabilities in that Blackburn back line that hopefully Preston are looking to take advantage of. Scott Wharton will be missing this one through suspension, although I know that Blackburn have appealed that red card. Hayden Carter, I think, is still out injured, and there's also some rumblings that Rankin Costello could be out of this clash as well, which would be a significant blow to Blackburn. Hopefully getting Osmajic up against that makeshift back four of Blackburn, and Preston could have a little bit of joy there. I do see both sides scoring, think there'll be a few goals scored. Why not? I'll back North End for all 3 points in this one. I'm going to go 3-2 Preston in this one, but realistically this game could go either way. Next then we head to the Stadium of Light for Sunderland up against Birmingham. It's only 1 win in 5 for Sunderland, that win against Norwich. Other than that, they've not quite been firing on all cylinders recently. It was a really frustrating result for them last time against Swansea, where they were playing against 10 men for the majority of that game, and while they had plenty of shots, couldn't really find much quality in the final third, and Swansea were able to frustrate them. They're going up against the Birmingham side who are still searching for their first win under Wayne Rooney, but week in, week out, there have been gradual improvements that I think we've seen from Blues, and obviously they were quite maybe unfortunate not to get all 3 points against Ipswich, having gone 2 goals up in that game. Prediction for this one, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this one ends level. Birmingham's still very much a work in progress under Rooney, and Sunderland aren't quite on their A game right now. Score prediction in that game, going to go for a 1-1 draw between those two. Next then we go to Cardiff up against Norwich. This really feels like it could be the final nail in the coffin for David Wagner, especially with an international break coming up after this round of championship fixtures. It feels as if that's usually the time for championship clubs to make a managerial change, and with the awful run that Norwich have been on recently, I can't see how it goes on like this for much longer. And they're also going up against the Cardiff side who have been on a decent run recently. 3 unbeaten for Cardiff. Wasn't the best game they were involved in last time, bit of a drab goalless draw with Stoke, but I expect more chances to be created in this game. So far this season, only Blackburn have faced more shots than this Norwich side have, and with the attacking quality that Cardiff have shown in a few of their games recently, I think they could have quite a bit of fun in this one. Score prediction, going to go 2-1 Cardiff. Do fancy them for all 3 points here. Next then we go to Coventry up against Stoke. Two sides going in very different directions right now. Stoke, who are looking like they're on the up. It's 4 consecutive games without a defeat for Stoke. 3 consecutive games where they've kept a clean sheet, going up against this Coventry side who aren't able to find much momentum right now. Now, I got to see Coventry up close and personal when they came to Deepdale over the weekend, and you can tell why they are in the position in the league that they are at the moment. A lot of basic errors being made in defence, and some points where they probably could have been a little bit more clinical. Having said that, I still think there's a template there for what could be a really successful team. In the second half against Preston, Coventry switched to a 4-3-3 formation. I thought they looked a lot more threatening in that sort of style, and to be honest, I'd like Robbins to line up with that sort of team from the off against Stoke in this one. I think there's the potential there to cause a little bit more chaos, especially in the final third. With that being said, Stoke have been on a good run recently, and Coventry just don't look like they're playing with that much confidence right now. For a score prediction in this game, I'm going to edge Stoke for a 2-1 away victory. Next then we go to Hull up against Huddersfield. Huddersfield grinded out a goalless draw last time against Watford. Got to see a little bit more defensive stability from them, and that's ultimately the area where Darren Moore absolutely needs to improve this Huddersfield side. If they're going to beat the drop this season, they need to be defensively sound. Looking at that team, there's not an overwhelming amount of attacking quality, and so they will need to rely upon a solid defensive base. And in the Watford game, they did manage to do that, albeit it was against a Watford side who didn't look like they had that much attacking quality in their ranks, and I think that this game against Hull will be a different kettle of fish. Hull last time, a little bit under par against West Brom, gave away a few sloppy goals which they'll have been disappointed with, but I think they head into this game against Huddersfield as the favourites and understandably looking to bounce back. Generally speaking, so far this season, Hull have been pretty good value for money at home. They've only lost 1 out of their 7 home matches so far, and I think that if Hull score first in this game, Huddersfield may find it tough to get back into it. Score prediction in this one, I'm edging the home side for a 2-0 home victory. Next then we head to Ipswich up against Swansea, and this one has the potential to be quite an interesting game. Swansea have actually been really decent value for money on the road since that South Wales derby defeat against Cardiff there. 4 matches unbeaten away from home. They're heading up against an Ipswich side who have looked absolutely irresistible at Portman Road though. Ipswich averaging over 3 goals per game scored themselves while they've played at home this season, which is absolutely bonkers. 22 goals they've scored in the 7 home matches they played so far this season, and to put into context just how mental that is, in Leicester's 8 home matches this season, they've scored half of that amount. They've only scored 11 in their opening 8 home matches. So yeah, crazy numbers from Ipswich there. There is the potential that Swansea will be that little bit more fresh for this one, as Ipswich were obviously in action in midweek. But with that being said, especially at home, Ipswich just seem to find a way to win. I could see Swansea getting a goal in this one, but with how many goals Ipswich are scoring at home right now, I'm going to go 3-1 Ipswich as a score prediction in this game. After that, we go to Ellen Road for Leeds up against Plymouth. Leeds coming off the back of that terrific away performance they had last time against Leicester, and now they'll really be looking to put in a consistent run of form between now and the end of the calendar year to hopefully bridge that gap between themselves and the sides in the top 2. I see this game being quite an entertaining open game of football. Plymouth have been great value for money in terms of an entertainment factor so far this season. It was a bonkers 3-3 draw with Middlesbrough last time out. I wouldn't expect anything different from them in terms of how they go about and approach this game. What's been their sort of Achilles heel so far this season, Plymouth, has been their away form. They're one of 3 championship clubs yet to win on the road this season, and with how I see Leeds handling this game, it probably is Leeds who I'm edging towards in this fixture. Do see it being quite open. I could see both sides scoring, but as a score prediction, I'm going to go 3-1 Leeds. Next then we head to the Riverside for Middlesbrough up against Leicester, and this will be an interesting test of character for Enzo Maresca's side to see how they bounce back from that defeat last time against Leeds. Now, it's worth pointing out that the last time Leicester lost in the Championship, it was a tight game they lost against Hull. They rectified that by then winning their next 9 games on the bounce, and if they do the same after they lost that game against Leeds, then full credit to them, because that will have been some reaction. Are we about to see a mini wobble from this side? There's potential. I do think that Middlesbrough have a few threats in their ranks that could cause Leicester some problems, and I do see this game being fairly tight. I wouldn't be surprised if a 1-goal margin either way was to win this game. Despite Leicester's wobble last time, it is worth highlighting their incredibly ruthless away record so far. 7 games played for Leicester on the road, 7 wins. Absolutely clinical they've been on the road. They've scored 18 goals in those 7 away matches so far, only conceding 5 in that time. So I would have Leicester down as the overwhelming favourites here, but surely they'll have a little bit of a stumble at some point. So score prediction, I'm going to back Borough for a point in this one. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between these two, but a Leicester win wouldn't surprise me. QPR against Bristol City is an interesting matchup. As of recording, it seems as if it will be Liam Manning, the new manager, in the dugout at Ashton Gate. Very excited to see how that managerial appointment goes, and obviously against the QPR side, who have freshly appointed a new gaffer in Cifuentes. We got to see the first taste of what the new boss was going to bring to this QPR side with that performance last time against Rotherham, and some stark changes to how QPR was set up under Gareth Ainsworth. A lot more of an emphasis on having the ball, building it up in a different way to what Ainsworth was looking to do. And I mean, Chair with a real standout performance, a cracking goal, but some great creative touches against Rotherham last time out. I think he will be absolutely pivotal to turning around QPR's fortunes. Now, I was having a bit of a look into QPR's fixture run in between now and the end of the year, and I do think there are some decent opportunities where they can get points. 4 of their next 7 games are against sides who are currently in the bottom half of the table, and I think they could fancy themselves to get something against this Bristol City side here, who are obviously going through a big transitional phase themselves right now. This one really could go either way. I think I'm sitting on the fence for it personally. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Wouldn't be surprised if that ends level. After that, we head to Hillsborough for Sheffield Wednesday up against Millwall. This will be our first chance to get a taste of Joe Edwards in the hot seat at Millwall. Very intrigued to see how this appointment goes. Quite a contrast to having Gary Rowett in the dugout previously, but Edwards comes along with a fantastic coaching CV, albeit this will be his first real test of senior management, and at only 37 years old, he will be one of the youngest managers in the Championship as well. I think quite a few people probably will be fancying Millwall for this game. It'll be a Sheffield Wednesday side who will be without Barry Bannon, who will be serving in suspension after that red card he picked up last time. And it's also a Sheffield Wednesday side who have failed to score in 7 of their last 8 matches. And for all the faults that Millwall have had at the Den so far this season, generally speaking, they've actually been quite good at picking up points on the road. And if Millwall take the lead in this game, Sheffield Wednesday might find it tough to get back into it. Well, we have seen improvements from Sheffield Wednesday under their new manager. I think that lack of attacking quality still shines through in a lot of matches we've seen. For a score prediction in this one, I think I'm narrowly fancying Millwall for a 1-0 away victory. After that, we have a cracking matchup between 2 promotion hopefuls as Southampton go up against West Brom. It's 2 sides who are on a good run of form right now. West Brom have won 3 on the bounce, Southampton unbeaten in 7. And taking a look ahead to Southampton's next matches after this West Brom clash for the rest of the year, 7 of the next 9 teams they play after this game against West Brom are all against sides currently in the bottom half of the table. So they're on a terrific run of form right now, and I think there's every chance that that run of form extends into the new year. They've been playing some cracking football lately, but how do I see this game going? Well, it's certainly one that I could see going either way. I'd say that I slightly have a little bit more faith in West Brom's defensive setup than I do against Southampton, and in these tight sort of matches that absolutely can make all the difference. But with that being said, I'd always back Southampton to score a late goal or 2. Do you know what? This might just be a bit of a gut feeling of mine, but I was really impressed with West Brom and their performance against Hull. Their away showing at Deepdale earlier in the season still really stands out to me as one of the best sides that I've seen come to Deepdale so far this season. And if Corberon gets it tactically spot on, I think the Baggies might actually edge this one, you know. I know Southampton are on a terrific run of form right now, but that's got to come to an end eventually. I think I'm going to back West Brom to win 4 on the bounce. Score prediction, I'm going to go 2-1 to the Baggies in that game, which would be an interesting result in the promotion picture. And then finishing things off for the weekend with Watford going up against Rotherham. Watford still on this decent unbeaten run, albeit still not playing quite the sparkling, eye-catching football that I think a lot of Watford fans were perhaps hoping for, but I think a few people would still have Watford as the favourites coming into this game, given Rotherham's shortcomings on the road so far this season. Just 1 point in 7 away matches that Rotherham have picked up so far. Now, to be fair, we saw Watford struggling to break down that Huddersfield side last time out, despite having the majority of the ball. I think over 70% possession in that game, and I'd back this game to be a similar sort of matchup where it's Rotherham who will probably be looking to sit in and play quite deep, and then on transitions and set pieces and things like that. But with Watford holding the home advantage, I think they might slightly edge this one, and being that little bit more fresh as well, considering that Rotherham were in action in midweek, going to go for a marginal 1-0 home victory for Watford in that game. But guys, there you have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. If you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like and make sure to stick around and subscribe for some regular Championship content. Other than that though guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.